life of an ex-gang member. It all started, my whole family was into gangs. All my uncles, my dad, my brother, my cousins, my whole family was in gangs. So I grew up my whole life looking up to the gang life. Like other kids would want to maybe be an athlete or famous movie star or something like that. I always wanted to be a gang member, into gangs. That was like my goal since I was very young. So I got into a gang at very young, and I always try to, my family had a good reputation around my area where we were from and all that. So I tried to do a lot of stuff to earn my own name, respect. So I ended up doing a lot of things, and I got arrested very young at 16 for a shooting. I went to the youth authority for several years. I got arrested for shooting, and during that time, the youth authority is real crazy. I heard stories that everybody knows that the youth authority is real crazy and all that, and so I didn't think so. But when I got out, it messed me up, and I was really bad and really crazy. Like I was like a gangbanging machine. My whole life, everything, my mind, my focus, everything was on gangs. Like I didn't even care about my family, nothing. All I cared about was my neighborhood and all that. So like being like that, I ended up calling shots for my neighborhood, and I had power, and I could make my homeboys like you go do this shooting or go do whatever. And they would listen or whatever, because I was running it. But I used to love to do shootings. That was my thing. I did drugs and drinking, and I used to rob people. I'm sure you guys heard testimonies like that before, but mine was I loved guns and I loved to do shootings and stuff like that. So I ended up achieving that what every gang member or whatever that lifestyle has to offer. I ended up achieving. I had women. I had respect, I was running my neighborhood, everything. I achieved everything, and yet I still wasn't happy. So my story begins where me and my friends, we were gonna do another shooting. We had the guns in the car, stolen car, everything ready. They were just waiting for me to get off of work, and we were gonna do the shooting. And so as soon as, I was at work, and my boss, he was a believer, or a Christian man. He was an ex-gang member too. He started sharing the gospel with me. And my whole life, I was raised Catholic. My whole family was Catholics. And so I never heard the gospel. I go to church and everything my whole life. I never heard it the way he was sharing the gospel with me. And he was telling me about Jesus and stuff like that. And then, so I was listening to him, and I said, you know what? I knew what he was saying was true, and I never heard it like that. So I told him, you know what? That sounds good. Maybe one day, if I ever get married and all that, maybe I'll go to church.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. You can embrace your culture and love your heritage and love America at the same time. There is such thing as an illegal that is not Hispanic, and it's time that we Lexit the Democratic Party. Without further ado, David and Jesse.
Latinos. This is the left and the fake media's worst nightmare right here. But I started off, I was into gangs and all that, but I was also raised as a Democrat my whole life. I was raised, like, I didn't know why or what, but my family always told me growing up, we're from the left, we're on the left side, and she said because all the whites and rich are for the other side. So then I was like, what? I didn't really know, so I said, all right, I'm a Democrat. And then, but my conversion of Christianity, and I was just started, I was going stronger in the Lord, I just seen their attacks on Christianity, and I was just pissed off like that, just getting pissed off. So that led me to start doing my homework on the Democrat Party. So as I'm doing my homework and my faith in God, I was like, you know what, as a Christian, there's no way I could support them no more. So that's why I left the Democrat Party. Also too, I was tired of them playing minorities for votes, because they play the blacks and Latinos for votes. They use race. That's why every time you see them, everything's race, this is that. That's all they say. They don't want truth and facts. They just want that. That's why I don't ever try not to argue with liberal Latinos or whatever, because they're just uneducated most of the time. Because every time I'm talking to them and I'm giving them facts, all it ends up to is hate or race or whatever, and always every time. So they're just uneducated. That's why don't get frustrated with them. Just try to help them. Try to open their eyes. And then another thing too, I hate how they keep trying to say Trump's racist, whatever. I'm like, he ain't a racist. Most of the things he said, I agree with. Whatever you guys, the fake news media, everybody knows too. The Spanish channels are as bad as those other fake news media channels, the Spanish channels, and they twist his words and all of that. And I'm like, Trump, he's right when he's saying, look, he's trying to help Latinos. He's helped us more than anybody that I've seen. Look what he's doing, lower unemployment, prison reform, in all ways. He tried to offer DACA 3 times. And the left, they don't even want to. They don't even want to talk. They're not even trying. And the reason why is because it's their left's worst nightmare for Trump to help the Latinos. So it's all about politics with them. They don't care about us, because if it was, they would be helping Trump, or they would be going with him, compromising, but they don't. And it's all about, they're playing politics. This is all politics. Like I said, it's their worst nightmare for Trump to help the Latinos. They're just worried about losing the Latino vote.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to encourage you guys to start being bold, because like me, I'm in a wheelchair and all that, and I'm bold. Like me and David, we're bold. We represent, because the left, you see how they're doing? They have everybody scared, or they're trying to intimidate us. And I'm American, and I'm proud of my heritage. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mexican, but I'm proud. And America's full of a long line of patriots, down patriots, and everybody knows Latinos got heart. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't be scared anyways. But they're trying to intimidate us, and my people are like scared to wear their hats, or they're scared to say whatever, whatever, because we're scared of them. And see, they're bold. They're out there marching with their signs and their chants and all of that. And we got to switch that. And see, by us being quiet and scared and like that, it's emboldening them to be even more. And that's why they're attacking and all. And so we got to break the stereotype. Look like me, him. Look, they try to say the fake media, and then they try to say that it's only for the whites and the rich or whatever that are for them. But nah, look at me and David. I was a regular Chicano. We were regular Chicanos from California. You know what I'm saying? Ex-gang member, and I support Trump. So what does that tell you? That's fake. It's all fake news. That's what I want to tell my people, is just do your homework. And then another reason too is they're trying to make us single issue voters. They're trying to use only the immigration to manipulate the Latinos, right. And I'm sick of it. You know what I mean? If it's going to be one issue, it should be abortion that we should be voting on, the one issue, because most Latinos and blacks are God-fearing people. We love God.
Yes.
So we need to be voting. For some reason, we're not voting our godly values. And we need to put God first above all things. And we need to start voting our godly values. That's what I have to say.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm David Basolto, one of the Exit founders. Some of you might know me as the Hispanic Conservative on Facebook. Let me ask a question. How many of you have been called a coconut before? Put your hand up. How many of you have been called a sellout?
On a good day.
How many of you have been called a race trader?
On a good
Who's
day.
tired of all that? Everybody, right? All right, so it's gonna take us to be more vocal. We can't sit on the sideline anymore and be quiet. If we're gonna tell people that Latinos are conservatives, that blacks are conservatives, we need to make our voice be heard. Enough with being scared, enough with being afraid. Now Jesse and I, like you said, we're two Chicanos from California, all right? We're just regular guys, all right? I'm an Army combat veteran. I'm also a commercial truck driver. But I took it upon myself, along with Jesse, to say enough's enough. We're not just gonna sit on the sideline anymore and just complain of how things are going. No, we're gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna do our videos and we're gonna put ourselves out there. Now, of course, we're gonna take a lot of backlash. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you have before as well, right? Who cares? Enough of that. We can't be afraid, you know? If we're gonna make our country better, if we're gonna make our country great again, It's going to take us to stand up and say, hell no, we're not going to be okay with, late-term abortion. We're not going to be okay with just letting everybody and anybody into our country. We're not going to be okay with open borders where drugs are coming across that border and killing our people. Because those drugs come into our neighborhood. They're not going into Nancy Pelosi's neighborhood. They're not going into Beverly Hills. They're coming into Latino communities, and our people die. So enough with that. It's time for us to fight back. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about was people getting involved, all right? Whether you get involved on Instagram, Facebook, your own community, whatever you decide you want to do, get involved, start talking to people, because as we know, especially the older Latinos, they've been watching Univision, they've been watching Telemundo. So they're already pretty brainwashed by, people like Jorge Ramos, We need to show them what the truth is, all right? We can't let them keep, continue to be manipulated by these people any longer, okay? So we need to come at them with the facts. And, one source that you have is our Lexit page, all right? We do stuff in English and we do stuff in Spanish, in order to reach the older crowd and stuff like that. Because, let's be honest, when it comes to some of the older Latinos, they get their news through gossip. Rosa, the chismosa down the street that says, oh, I heard, that the president's going to deport everybody. Because actually, I'll be honest, I have some cousins in Cali that were crying thinking they were going to get deported. And I'm like, come on, genius, you were born here. You're not getting deported, my brother-in-law works for CBP, and I've been told plenty of times that you're going to get deported. And then I posted a picture on Facebook at a secret office for DHS, and I said, oh yeah, I'm right here. They got me. No, I'm going to go hang out, get some beers with my brother and, the other guys and stuff like that. But, everybody needs to get involved. We need to be proud of who we are. We're conservative, we're Latino, we're very prideful people, and we need to represent as much as possible. Anybody that wants to be more involved, if you want to come help us with Lexit, reach out to us. We got our business cards too, or you could just message us. We respond to everybody. I'm real happy to be here. This is my first political event I've ever gone to, in my lifetime. I was born and raised, a lefty in California. But once I joined the Army, I started being around other people that were, conservative, and I didn't know what it was going to be like, because basically I was always told, that side's racist, they want to get rid of you, they're the rich, all that crap, But once I got around, military people that were conservative, I realized right away that, these people are pretty cool. And then I also realized that, like, the values that my mom raised me with, my nana, my tata, that they were conservative, So once I came to that realization, it was real easy to switch from, being on the left to being on the right, And I will say, since my mom is here, my mom Alice, she's been very supportive of everything I've done from the very beginning. Thank you so much, Mom. She's always in my corner, no matter what I do, as long as it's nothing stupid, But, it's really not that hard to switch from left to right once you realize what you are, especially with the values that we're raised with. So us as Lexit, me and Jesse, we're trying to point that out to Latinos, like, hey, your family raised you this way. These are our values. These are our morals, and they align with the right, Be on the side with your godly values as well as your morals, Because if we keep going down the road, the left's going to, take us down. It's going to lead to socialism. And what is socialism? Socialism? Socialism sucks, right? We don't want that. We don't want to be the next Venezuela, We want to be America. We want to be the United States, free, where we uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that's what I swore an oath to protect, and I'll always uphold my oath. So that's all I got to say, but we really wanted to open up questions to take from you guys, because we want you guys to get to know us better. So who's got questions? Ask us whatever you want. I don't care.
Questions over here.
Okay, they got the mic right there.
Testing.
Testing. Oh, hello. My name is Alejandro. I have another question or opinion. How come the government doesn't report when crimes or death scenes in the San Bernardino area? Because the street movement and street hoodism officers, they don't report half. They only report half the stuff they take. They don't report everything. You guys mentioned that the drugs and all this about that doesn't matter. I'm talking about the government themselves or the governments. They don't report all the drugs they take or all the crimes that happen in the area. They only report certain parts of the drugs they take, or certain money they take, or certain debts. A lot of debts happen in the San Bernardino area. They never reported them. I looked them up. I couldn't find them.
A lot of that has to do with the local government. They don't want to report the numbers to be true. As far as like drugs and things that are coming in, just keep in mind that they're not going to be able to keep statistics on the stuff that slips through that they never catch. If they don't catch it, they're not going to know what it is.
Hello. My question's on the ballooning national debt and how the Republican and Democrat parties seem to be quiet, not talking about it at all. And I'm worried about my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren being indebted and basically enslaved to China and whoever else owns our debt.
As far as that goes, I mean, I'll be honest, both sides are guilty at overspending. But, honestly, I think the president that we have in the White House right now is actually going to be somebody to start lowering that debt based on the fact that the economy's booming. I think he needed to get it to that point first, where we have that, that high boosted economy where now we can actually start putting money to the side to start taking down the national debt. But of course, I'm not up there. I can't make them do it. You know what I mean?
I was just wondering, as individuals, what can we do and what steps can we take to start at a community level,
as individuals,
to start reducing our state debt and then maybe work towards national debt on the state.
You need to start calling your officials. You need to start calling them. You need to start hounding them, writing them letters, calling them, and let them know that you're not going to go away, or you're a thorn in their side. Really, that's the best way you can do it as an individual to make sure you're getting through to them.
And at least Trump got the military. He did the military. At least he's doing something with it. Obama didn't do nothing. He has something to show for it.
A Democratic president, they'll also have the military too.
The way he rebuilt it.
My name is Zachary, and my question is, what advice can you give to somebody who wants to start a movement similar to Lexit, but for other minorities that haven't been exposed to conservatism?
Actually, that's a good question. I've been asked it plenty of times by people on social media. Really, they got to figure out what the message is going to be specifically to the people that they're targeting. I've had somebody hit me up and say, hey, I want to start like a Lexit type thing for Polynesians. And I said, okay, well, I don't really know what to tell you with that, what their needs and concerns are and stuff like that, but you got to figure out what it is that, they're worried about, what their morals and values are, and, get on social media, start a Facebook page, start an Instagram, and, start doing personal videos and see what resonates with people, and then go from there, And I told them, of course, obviously, I'm more than happy to support people that are doing that stuff, to share their content on Lexit, so, whoever it is, whatever, ethnicity it is, let's get that stuff out there and show them that there's conservatives of every shape, color and form out here in this country.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Abigail, and I'm from South Texas. I'm literally like 40 minutes from the border. I see a lot of the things that a lot of leftists say that's not going on. I see that whole illegal immigration concept going on. I see the whole drug cartel going on. I see the huge effect of it upon our community, upon our country. What would you say to people that think that's not real, who say that it's like a constructed thing? It's not a constructed thing, but what would you say to that? I know that the individual who spoke before, you said like borders aren't racist. It's not racist, right? It's not racist to defend your country. It's not racist to defend your citizens. It's not racist to care for people and to defend their lives. But what would you say to those type of attacks? Like, how do you take that, and how do you respond to it?
One way for me is because you guys know I used to be into gangs, so I know the drugs coming through. That's like the main supplier for gangs, where we used to get guns and all that stuff. So, and I got shot. I'm in the wheelchair paralyzed from the gang money, all that, from drug money, all of that. It goes down, so I know firsthand with the drugs alone, but even the deaths, even people that are destroying their lives with their kids, everything, because they're strung out on drugs. You know what I mean? But then to the human trafficking, all of that you can mention. They don't want to mention that the women's getting raped. That's real.
Thank you.
Afternoon. My name is Daniel. I'm a Christian conservative Latino. Grew up in California from a very liberal family, coming to a liberal campus, Cal State Northridge. I was wondering, how do you get, for example, your conservative ideas, for example, in a classroom level or even in like a campus level, for people to not start calling you hater, traitor, Nazi.
I mean, well, Turning Point's one of the best ones for that, for going on the campuses and taking all that stuff on. But you know, if you're gonna do it yourself, you just gotta go in there and represent. And you know, the one thing I would say is don't be too crazy about how you go to people. Try to stay calm. I know Charlie Kirk said this a lot of times too. Stay calm and chill, and you know, make sure you get through to them. Of course, there's gonna be people that, no matter how cool and calm you are, they're gonna be triggered and lose their mind and pull their hair out. And there's nothing you can do about that. But you know,
Just don't repay evil for evil. We're better than them. Don't sink to their level.
Hi, my name is Arturo, and I'm a Christian before anything else, but I'm also a conservative. With that being said, what do you think the church's role should be when it comes to politics? Because, like, you know, I've heard stories of churches telling their constituents, like, not to vote for Trump or else they'll be racist. But then I also feel like the church shouldn't be a place where we're promoting our political beliefs too, because it's the house of God. So again, God first for anything. But you got these Christians and Catholics, especially like the Latino communities and the African American communities, voting against like their beliefs essentially. So how should like the church go about that?
I think that they should be more vocal, and telling people, because some churches might worry about losing some numbers or things like that, but they need to, because I've seen black pastors bashing Trump and all that, and it gave me mad. I'm like, they're bashing Trump, these pastors. We're the ones supporting Trump in that. Like, but why aren't they speaking out ours? Why are the conservative ones speaking out? There's a few, I know some good ones that do, but they need more. That's why the country is getting, like me, it's not even a battle of good and evil. I mean, it's not right and left no more, it's good and evil now. It's a spiritual battle going on right now. We need to get more involved.
Hi, my name's Estrella, and I've been with Turning Point for a few years now, and I've done lots of like interviews kind of representing Turning Point and the activism that I do. And so a lot of questions I get asked, you know, how am I Latina and how am I conservative? Past years going to conferences, I haven't had anyone be able to give me a good answer, so I'm hoping y'all can give me one. Just by a show of hands, how many of y'all have parents who crossed over illegally? That's fine if you don't want to say it, but my mother crossed over illegally as a child, so that was like in the late 70s, early 80s. That might be, she would be considered like DACA kids. She was brought over by her family who abandoned her, and then they wanted her and they brought her over as a 13-year-old to the States, basically as an indentured servant, you know. And it was just a horrible situation, and she met my father who was a citizen, and he worked really hard to get the lawyers and to get all the paperwork done so she could become a citizen. So how can I defend the border wall and, you know, be against illegal immigration when, had those been implemented in the 70s, I would not exist? I still believe it because it's the right thing. But I just want to know if y'all have any good answer I can give besides, you know what, coulda, shoulda, woulda, I'm sorry that was a situation, I'm here now, we tried to fix it, and, you know, mistakes were made. But, you know, what can we say about that? Defending our whole existence and then our ideas.
well, you're kind of caught in a gray area. Honestly, what I say, I mean, if I was in your shoes, is, you know, maybe, you know, my parent, you know, did it the wrong way, committed a crime, but didn't make it right. I mean, granted, if she was, you know, to go and do the paperwork now and become a citizen, it'd be a little bit different. But you're not going to make the same mistakes as the people before you. So you know it was wrong back then, you're making it right now. That's all I have to say.
And this will be the last question.
Hello, thank you for coming out here. As a Latino conservative, and obviously you guys have your movement starting, but it's been so evident and so clear that the left has never really done anything for Hispanics and Latinos. So why are we finally starting to see a cultural change in Hispanics to start being right-leaning when this has really always been our ideology, like in the way we've talked about the culture that Latinos grow up in? So why is barely now are these movements starting? Why haven't they been around for longer?
Well, Candace influenced me a lot, because I seen what Candace was doing with hers. I met her, she's really cool too. But yeah, that had a lot to do with it. We're just sick, just tired of it, just tired of the fake media, because they've been exposed since this administration like never before. The fake media I was just sick how they're attacking every single day relentlessly on the president, and just even on the Spanish channels, like it's just relentless. And then even what they just about the late-term abortion, like that should be like enough is enough. Even if you're not right or whatever, you should be to kill a baby after it's already born and all that. There has to be a point where that's enough is enough now. It's just they're not even the same as 5 years ago. They're like totally whacked out, so far to the left now.
Aren't you guys like tired of the left using comprehensive immigration reform as a talking point to get Latinos to vote for them?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you guys, but when HRC brought on Tim Kaine to be her VP, why did he do it? Or why did she bring him? Because he speaks Spanish. Is that all it takes to get Latinos to vote for them? That someone speaks Spanish, and we're just like, oh my God, it's the answer to all my prayers, he speaks Spanish? No, we have real issues that we're concerned about. And, we love comprehensive immigration reform, but we also want our military taken care of. We don't want late-term abortion. We want our morals and values to be upheld by the politicians that represent us. And I'm just sick and tired of them thinking they can use these simple things, someone pulling a hot sauce out of the purse and thinking that's going to be enough to get our votes. No, screw that. We want to see real legitimate policies that are going to make our communities better, So that's all it is. We just got sick and tired of
that
this.
thing I want to say is the hypocrisy from the left too. Like, they try to say Trump's racist, whatever. What about when they busted Hillary calling Mexicans taco bowls? They don't say nothing about that though. She called black super predators. She said they all look alike. But they don't say nothing about that. But imagine if Trump, even that Northam guy or whatever, imagine if they busted Trump in a KKK costume, blackface, all that. All hell would be breaking loose. But it's the left, they don't say nothing. Just hypocrites.